that journey chick on Instagram. Hello, it's Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. Today we're going to talk about the verdict in the Donald Hartung case and day 2 of testimony in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Yay! Cheers! Yay! If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss another episode of Crafting and Crime Daily. I do playlist everything, and the episodes are numbered. And don't forget to hit the like button and then make them go to work. Yep, he's got to earn a living too. All right, so what is going on today in the planner world? Let's find out. Okay, let's look. We are in November. Okay, we can put a little lady in today. We haven't done this little lady in a while. Oh yeah, she's doing the coffee thing. Yeah, this is the coffee lady today. Definitely, if I can get the... yeah. I have a doctor's appointment this morning for my shoulder. I was thinking about not going because, I mean, it still hurts, but it's not terrible. And I don't think he's going to do anything about it, so. Except tell me to go to physical therapy, and I don't want to. I'm tired of going to physical therapy. So there, I'll put my little coffee lady over my doctor's appointment. Yep. Right there. There's my little coffee lady. There's the doctor's appointment. All right, do I have a pen? Yes, I do. Okay, today is National Louisiana Day. Can I even spell that? Louisiana. Do I know anybody from Louisiana? Is that where Nana's from? Nana of Seven Crafts? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't remember. Somewhere around those parts. Yeah. Oh man, do I need new glasses? Boy, these are... Or maybe I should just clean them. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. I know. And this day in history, 1971, I'm going to tell you about this interesting murder case. Murder by, what was his name? Yep, John List. The John List case. Very interesting case. Okay, that's it for today. Now, what are we going to diamond paint? We need some drills. I'm looking. Come on. All right, let's pull out another box. Seriously, you have too many choices, right? Okay, did I find one? I found one. Yay! Found. Nope, that's not it. Is that the, okay? Found 2. Yay! We're making progress. Now, I did record an unboxing yesterday. I will try to get that up later this afternoon for you to enjoy. Oh my God. Ooh. That was a very cold breeze just now. Ooh. It's all of a sudden it just came through the window. Wow. Brr. I'm going to wear a sweater when I go to the doctor's office. Yep. All right, we're going to start with the blue. Put these off to the side. Let's talk about Louisiana Day. Louisiana is a true melting pot. We got Louisiana through the Louisiana Purchase, which was in 1803. When France, we negotiated with France, we picked up 828,000 miles of territory, and out of that, we created 15 states. The first was Louisiana, and that was in 1812. 1812. So Louisiana holds the secrets of pirates, conflicts of slavery, and the paths of progress. So there's all kinds of tales down in the bayou. Yep. Really, I I became familiar with Louisiana through the books of Anne Rice. The Garden District was always a background to her books, and I always felt like, I gotta go see Louisiana. You know, the Mardi Gras, right? Mardi Gras. Yep. I've only been to there once. Yeah. I went there once. Why did I go there? I think it was for like a business conference, because I remember my boss was there. You know, he liked to throw money around. So he took us to these nice places. We stayed in this beautiful hotel. Oh my God. It, it was like an old house, and you could go out on the porch and look out over, what's that, the famous street? It was right on that famous street. I don't know what the famous street is. Is it Church Street? I don't know. Where they have the Mardi Gras. You could look out the window. Like if they had Mardi Gras, I could have thrown beads. This is where this old house was. And it wasn't like, you know, a 5-star Hilton. This was an old historic house made into a little hotel. And my boss paid for it. Yeah. We did not go gambling. I did not get to gamble on that trip. I need a pen. A diamond painting pen. That would help, wouldn't it? All right. So if you're from Louisiana, let us know, which part of the culture are you from? Are you from the Indians, the French? What else is there? Indians, French, Spanish, German, African American. Yeah, you name it. Everybody came to Louisiana at one point or the other. Very diverse group of Native American tribes as well. So that is all I'm going to say about that. Okay, here's what you came here for. Crafting and Crime Daily. Okay, the case of Donald Hartung. How did you guys vote? Let's see. I bet I know. Let me take a look. I did put up a community post so you, as the 13th juror, could vote on how you would have found Donald Hartung. Guilty or not guilty? Let's see. Community. Ooh, it was not 100%. Okay, so 88% of you thought guilty. 6% said not guilty. Oh, that's interesting. And 6% said hung jury. Well, unfortunately, he was found guilty on all counts. First-degree murder of his mother, first-degree murder of his brother John, and first-degree murder of his brother Richard. So now they go into the penalty phase. And I just kind of want to watch the penalty phase. I want to see who testifies. I want to see if he is contrite in any way, if he's actually going to say something. When they read the verdict, this guy, his face did not move a muscle, not a twitch, nothing. The only reason you could tell he was alive was his eyes would move around, his eyeballs. His face didn't move at all. And then after the verdict was read and the jury was excused, they were given 4 days off. They were told to come back on Monday. They would start the penalty phase. This is where they decide whether he gets life or the death penalty. His lawyers, after everybody's excused and the courtroom is, you know, filing out, his lawyers get up, take their stuff, you know, the woman grabs her purse and they just leave. They don't say a word to their client, not a word. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah. So not a word. Usually there's like, you know, some condolences, something, not a word. So strange, so strange. So that kind of spoke volumes. So I'm just curious to see what his position is going to be during the penalty phase. Is he going to say, nope, didn't do it, it wasn't me? You know, I don't know. Probably because he's going to have appeals. So they rarely, you know, they will rarely confess during a penalty phase because of the appeals. Anyway. So strange, that case. So strange. The good news is, the only good news out of this case is the poor boy who was molested when he was a child, Donald's son. He gets the money. That's the one who deserves it anyway, you know? Probably the only normal person in that whole family. The one who was molested by his uncle, you know, he ends up with the money. You know, all's well that ends well, I guess. So sad. All right, day 2 of the Ahmaud Arbery case. Oh my God, this case, it's just, I guess the word I'm reaching for is unbelievable that something like this would happen in this day and age. These were not stupid men. These were intelligent men. I just don't know what they were thinking, you know? I mean, I guess what I'm trying to express is that in this day and age, to be that socially biased against a race is just crazy. I mean, it was really like a modern day lynching, you know, like they just lynch mob. They just went after him and killed him. So anyway, yesterday we get the testimony of the crime scene investigator. She's a police officer, very nice looking woman, but she is also the lead crime scene investigator. So she comes out, she takes a bunch of photographs. I'll put some here. This one, there's first one is like an overview of the scene. There's one that's a little closer up. There's now a sheet covering Ahmaud Arbery's body. And I believe there was a picture of the gun, the rifle, the shotgun. I don't know guns, guys. Shotgun that was sitting in the grass not far from his body. There was a picture of that. So I'll put that there. But there was a lot of pictures shown from different angles. Yeah. Interestingly enough, she took no pictures of the suspects, that what they were wearing, because one of them, Travis, the son, had blood all over the back of his head and in different spots. There was blood on his father, Greg, because apparently after the shooting, he goes over and pulls, because Ahmaud Arbery lands on his stomach. So he pulls his arm out from under him, thinking he's got a weapon. He wanted to see if there was a weapon. There was no weapon. They thought he had a weapon. So she takes no pictures of them. Then we hear from the first officer on the scene, who's no longer a police officer. Now he does food preparation. So I don't know what happened to his police career. They didn't ask him. But I find that very curious. And he wasn't old enough to retire, still a young guy. He only spent a couple years on the force. I don't know if this, you know, it sounded like this area was pretty boring. Not much happened, except for this crime, of course. The rest of the calls that they would get would be, you know, domestic violence stuff. You know, nothing really exciting. So, you know, maybe he just got bored. I don't know. So he gets a 911 call. Now, we don't know who made the call. We believe that it was one of either the father or the son made this 911 call about a suspicious black male wearing a white t-shirt running through the neighborhood. So he gets into the neighborhood, and as he's approaching the area where the call came from, which was the street where all of these men lived, he hears gunshots. Now he hears loud bangs. He doesn't know if they're fireworks or if they're gunshots. Now, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not likely to be fireworks, so he keeps proceeding down this same road and eventually comes to the crime scene. Within a minute, he's at the crime scene. So within a minute of the shooting, he's there. Like, if he had just gotten there like a couple of minutes earlier, would it have saved Ahmaud's life? I don't know. Oh, scary. So he gets to the scene, parks his vehicle, he gets out. The first thing he's got to do is figure out, like, what's going on? Am I safe? He sees the father and the son, and they're kind of like talking to each other, pacing around. The other guy is off to the side. He sees that there's a gun on the ground. He sees the body on the ground. So once he's fairly certain that he's safe, he goes over to the victim. He hears the victim breathing, but it's a breath that he calls a death rattle. Now, he knows this is a death rattle because he's heard it before. He's been to suicide call. He's been to a suicide call where he heard it. He's been to car accidents, and he says, this is what you hear right before a victim passes away, is this death rattle. He heard this, so he knew there was nothing he could do. So he goes on to start securing the scene, because by now another officer has arrived on the scene, the one who actually rolls Ahmaud over and also sees that there's nothing that can be done. So this officer goes over to the third man, the one that did the video, and he says to him, he was trying to figure out, what is this guy's involvement? And the guy says, I have a video. He says, I saw the whole thing. I've got it on, I'm a witness. I've got a video. Do you want to see it? So he gets in the guy's truck because to avoid the glare of the sun so that he could see the video. So he watches the video. So then he tries to email the video to himself so that he could keep it for evidence. But the file is too large. He takes the video and he creates a smaller clip. He leaves the original video. It's still there on the phone, but he tries to email the smaller clip. That won't go either. Later on, there is a crime scene technician that does know how to extract the file and does successfully get the file for evidence. And that is what we see today. However, during the time that he and this arriving officer are talking, he indicates that he was in front of his house working on one of his cars when he saw this black male go jogging by, followed by a white truck. So he did not recognize the guy, but his assumption was they must be chasing him for a reason. He must have done something. So he jumps in his truck and he goes and follows the caravan. So now these two trucks are chasing this guy. He mentions to this police officer that on at least 5 separate occasions he had this guy blocked. He uses the word blocked, but not successfully. He gets away. Also, during this chase, he did say that there was no communication between him and the two people, the father and son. There was no hand gestures. There was no phone calls to coordinate what they were doing. He was just kind of trying to get the black male. He says at one point he was even side by side next to the black male. He had his window rolled down. The guy never said a word, not a word. Now, at one point, this third man said he heard one of the fathers or the son say, "Stop, stop, what did you do?" But he never heard Ahmaud Arbery respond. Ahmaud never said a word during this entire incident. Now, what is going on in the courtroom is quite interesting. Because of the amount, there's 3 different defendants, each has a set of attorneys. So the judge had to actually admonish the attorneys, because you've got 2 or 3 state attorneys and then at least 2 attorneys for each of the defendants. That's at least 8 lawyers in this courtroom. He said, I only want to hear from 1 lawyer per defendant per issue. Because what happened was there was an issue, and one of the lawyers for the son, Travis, gets up and he says some things, and then the other lawyer for Travis gets up and makes some additional comments, and the judge is like, no. If this is going to happen, we would be here all day long. This trial will last forever. 1 lawyer per issue. And if you haven't had an opportunity to confer with your co-counsel before you start your argument, too bad. So sad. He says, but I'm just not going to put up with it. The other interesting thing is, each witness gets to be cross-examined by all 3 defense lawyers, 1 lawyer per person. So this poor first arriving officer was on the stand for hours. Like, they broke for lunch, they came back from lunch, he's still on the stand. So then they were getting ready to put the second arriving officer on the stand, and he is the one who interviewed the father and the son. So there's some motion practice before that about what's going to come in, what's not going to come in. Finally, the judge says, listen, we're not going to be able to get this witness. This sounds like he's going to be on the stand for quite some time. The state attorney says, well, I do have 7 pages of questions. He's like, oh gosh, do you have a short witness that we can put on? She said, yeah, we do. So he says, okay, we're going to put the other guy on tomorrow. Put your short witness on. So now they're all trying to rearrange their notebooks. It's crazy in this courtroom. So they put on the short witness, which I have to admit, I did not listen to. I'll bring you the short witness. By then I was like, I'm ready for bed. Because it was, the poor other guy was on the stand for so long. I felt so bad for him. In any case, the other thing I found interesting, he had body-worn camera on him, but because of some hearsay issues, they weren't allowed to show the footage, but they had a transcript of what was said on the body-worn camera. So he was allowed to refresh his memory by reading from this transcript what was said to him and what he said to Mr. I think his last name is Gary, Mr. Gary or Mr. Barry, the third guy. But we weren't allowed to see the body-worn camera, which I found to be interesting. It's in evidence. The judge said you could show it. It's in evidence. But then there would be challenges to certain portions. They'd have to really cut and paste some of the things in and out. Anyway, that trial will continue today. I will give it a listen after I get back from my doctor's appointment, and I got to work today. I took yesterday off, but today I have to work. So this day in history, in 1971, a gentleman by the name of John List murders his entire family. Now, this was something he had been planning for some time prior to the murders actually happening. Leading up to the murders, he canceled their milk delivery, he canceled the newspaper, he canceled the mail, he wrote letters to the children's school saying, they were all going to be out of town for a sick relative for a few weeks, so that when he actually committed these murders, the bodies were not found for a month because nobody knew. they were a very reclusive family. It was his wife, his mother, and the three kids. He was a very strict father. They were very reclusive. They lived in this mansion in this very exclusive area of New Jersey. So people saw that the lights were on in this home every night, but never saw any movement within the house. So eventually the lights started burning out in the house. The light bulbs started burning out. And at that point, people got suspicious that something's going on because they never saw anybody coming and going. So that's when police were called almost a month after the murders, and they discovered the bodies. All of them had been shot, and then they were all lined up on sleeping bags in the ballroom of this mansion, with the weapon that killed them all also in line with the bodies. This was also a very religious family. The father was a Sunday school teacher. He was a Boy Scout leader. So what happens after he commits the murders? He leaves town. They find his vehicle. They suspect him immediately, but by now, a month has passed. He's gone. They find his car at the airport, at JFK Airport, but he didn't take a flight. So they have no idea where this guy is. None. So for 18 years, this guy gets away. So what actually happens is he takes a train. He leaves his car at the airport. He took a train. We find all this out later after he's captured. He takes a train to Colorado, sets up house in Denver under an alias, like Robert Clark, something like that, and just resumes, Bob Clark. He gets a false identity and he lives a new life. He gets a job as an accountant. He remarries. No more kids, but he remarries because he's getting older now. I gotta get a sip of coffee. Look, kindness matters. Oh, I guess it's on both sides. Kindness matters. Here's how he's caught. John Walsh's America's Most Wanted. It started in 1980. In its first season, it features this guy, John List. And they have this guy, this artist, do a bust, sort of a reconstruction, and he ages it. And interestingly, it looked remarkably like John List at that age. So that's shown on the show. They feature what happened at the murders. Phone calls start coming in, like rolling in, like we've seen this guy. Meanwhile, he remarries. He and his wife moved to Virginia. They set up house in Virginia. People in Virginia are calling like, hey, looks just like my neighbor, Bob Clark. So they go investigate, and sure enough, this is their guy. So he's arrested, extradited back to New Jersey. He goes on trial, and he actually testifies on his own behalf, which I find very strange. He admitted, he confessed to the killings. He said he was a banker. He was having financial difficulties when the bank folded, and he couldn't find another job. And he didn't want to tell his family. So every day he would pretend to go to work. He would get up in the morning. He'd put his suit on. For almost a year he did this. He would put his suit on. He would go to job interviews. And when he wasn't at job interviews, he would just sit at the train station reading the newspaper. So he planned these murders because, over that 1 year, he was skimming money out of his mother's account to pay his mortgage on this mansion. He didn't want to tell his family how bad off they were. He had his kids get jobs to help contribute and teach them, responsibility. So eventually he decides he's just going to murder them all so that they can go to heaven. Now, remember, I tell you, he's very religious. So that he he also said he thought they were swaying away from the religion. So he did this so that they could all go to heaven. Now, he didn't kill himself because he thought, well, that's wrong, and I won't go to heaven, and I want to be with them again someday. So I'm just going to flee. So he flees. So strange. Yeah. So that is this day in history in 1971. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, he enjoys the abuse. And subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Yes. All right, tomorrow, day 3 of the Ahmaud Arbery case. Meanwhile, I think I'm done with this symbol. Oh no, I found some more. Found some more. I worked on my temperature blanket last night. Yep, got 5 more rows done. It goes much faster. I don't know if I'm a better crocheter or I am using a tulip hook, which it's a very smooth hook. It just I can crochet so much faster with that hook because it just glides through the thread or the yarn. And I ordered more yarn last night. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell the like button either, okay? Because he'll be very jealous. Stitch is in the weirdest position. Oh my gosh. Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll see you later. Take care.